So we are going to start with a question submitted to the internet, and then after we have a question from the audience. Okay? So if you could, there are two questions that are similar, and we are, as you know, in the Canal neighborhood with a lot of a big immigrant population, and the questions that I'm going to combine the two questions that are very similar, the same topic. In light of the recent actions taken at the federal level that relate to our highly ineffective immigration system, what do you think the solution is, and what would you do to address the issue here in San Rafael, given the large immigrant population we have and the integral role they play in the local economy? So connect to that so we can combine both questions. You can share your knowledge about the sanctuary movement in the United States. And would you work with the community to make San Rafael a sanctuary city? So let's start with Greg from there to here. So basically, the question about immigration, sanctuary, and so we have 1 minute for each candidate.
Sure, thanks. Like most of us up here, I think the recent raids here were terrible. Some years ago, of course, they came in vans and sprung out from Marin Square, but it was just as bad or worse at 5 o'clock in the morning to come to people's homes. It's terribly disruptive. It's terribly traumatic. It really tears the fabric of a community. It creates disharmony and distrust when we're trying to create harmony and trust. However, it is a federal issue. We can't control it much as we'd like. I'm sure we'd like to send a message, and I think we should do everything we can to send a message that they're not welcome here, that we do not want these raids here. But if we can't do that, I think the least we can do is prepare our residents better, prepare them for the possibility of this happening, provide support and education and security so we don't have children crying in school wondering if their parents are going to be there when they get home. I don't know enough about all the details of the sanctuary city. It sounds appealing, I'd like to do that, but I need to see all the pros and cons and hear from other cities that have done it. So I can't commit on that now. Thanks.
I strongly spoke out against the ICE raids. I was here in the community center for the big public rally against the raids, as many of you know, and then wrote a letter to the editor afterwards because those were wrong for our community. The immigrant population here is a key part of our community, and I believe that as part of a solution, because ultimately it is a federal issue, right? We have to deal with immigrant policy at the federal level, but locally one thing we can do that I would like to look into is establish a day labor center for workers. I too, with Greg, do not know enough about the sanctuary issue. That's something I would definitely need to find more out about and go to the community about.
I think our federal government should take care of the immigration. In our area, I think that there ought to be a period of time between now and 08 to teach the people how to get in here, trying to say it's legal. There should be a set up places to show them how to be a citizen, or at least a legal citizen.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Like the other candidates, I deplore the ICE raids, but immigration is a federal issue. And I deplore the ICE raids because I know our police department is trying to do the best job they can in working with the community. And when you bring in folks that don't show respect to the residents of Canal, then I think we start having problems. especially when the police are trying to develop trust and confidence in the community. And I don't believe issues can be solved by the police themselves or by the residents, but it has to be a cohesive coming together, a collaborative approach between the police and the residents, and to have the ICE raids do nothing but tear down that relationship that exists. But again, it is a federal issue, and sanctuary cities, I'd have to get some detail on that before I could voice an opinion.
Thank you. Is all the costs rising for City of San Rafael, and why are the parking fees rising and requirements every day of the week to fit the meters? Will any of the parking fees be used for quality public transportation? So let's start with Damon.
Well, I too read recently about the rise in the parking fees. I don't know what the reason for the rise was. It is a matter of concern, and it has been mentioned at each forum we've been at. I'd like to get in and figure out why they were raised, and more importantly, make sure that in the future, the city is not doing anything that will actually make it tougher for residents to shop downtown or for businesses to do business downtown. You know, there are times when we are going to need to raise rates. I don't know if this is one of them, but you can bet when I'm in there, I want to make sure that we're not doing so if it's unnecessary, and that we are spending our money wisely, and we're doing it in a way that increases opportunities to get around town with public transit and supports a strong local economy.
Thank you. Greg?
On one hand, maybe it's good that we charge more for parking meters so that it discourages people from using cars. We need more people on foot, more people on bicycles, more people in public transit. On the other hand, for many decades, we've had a society where most people use cars most of the time. And San Rafael's downtown especially is extremely important to our city's economy, and we can't kill the goose that lays the golden egg, if you will. So I suppose we could come to a point, if we haven't already, where we're charging too much for the parking meters. I too would like to see what studies have been done, not only in San Rafael, but in other cities, to see how much is too much. I was at the council meeting last night when they approved some free parking in a couple of the city's parking lots for over the holidays between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because the holiday shopping is extremely important to just about all the merchants in town. But that may not be enough. I'm a little discouraged to see parking meters if they are in fact driving people away from downtown San Rafael, which we need so badly. Thanks.
If I remember the question, it was concerns about the rising cost of government in San Rafael, and attached to that was the parking meters. And I'm a fiscal conservative, so I would need to know why we have to increase the cost of government if we're providing the same level of service, and what alternatives are available to keep the cost of government at a fair level. In the final analysis, you folks in this room are helping pay the city budget. You're the ones who are contributing your sales tax and your property taxes to the budget. And so when elected to the council, you can rest assured that before there's any increase in fees or that the cost of government keeps escalating, that I'll need to know what those answers are.
Thank you.
I think it's terrible to raise it. We've driven all the business out of here up into Novato, which Novato is doing very, very well up there with $1 million days on Saturday. And that's one of our main things to support is sales tax.
Could you repeat, you go back, you related something to Novato?
I said we've driven most of our business out of San Rafael up to Novato and down to Corte Madera. And our basis is on sales tax, which helps support our town real good. And the parking meters, raising the price of them is definitely not a good thing in my mind.
Thank you.